morning, listeners and viewers. Welcome to the Real Stuff podcast. Today, we have a featured guest section, and I have with me today my co-host Courtney and our very special guest who has been our guest on a number of occasions, Mr. Debon Panton. And he, he will be speaking to us today about sacred symbols and talismans. He will explain all of that so we understand exactly where he's taking us today. Like I say, he has been here many times and is a presenter that has been requested all the time because of the depth of where he takes us. So good morning, Devon. Welcome.
Yes, morning, Flavius. Morning, Courtney. How you guys doing?
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I must admit to feeling a little self-conscious when I'm being built up like that. You know, the audience is being told being requested many times because of the depth to which I think. Anyway, no problem. We will not intimidate it.
It's information that most of us don't know.
Okay, no problem. And someone said to me some time ago, of what value is knowledge if it isn't shared? It makes no sense to have something and just keep it to yourself. Anyway, I'm gonna start by sharing my screen. All right?
Oh, sure.
Mhm. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to start. I took the liberty of putting up your
Yeah,
logo.
wonderful. Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it really is your video.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get this thing started now. Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you very much again, Mr. Facilitator and Courtney. It's a pleasure being here. It's been a while, and this really, to some extent, well, to a very large extent, is a follow-on to a previous presentation, one in which I spoke about Obeach rituals and bush medicine. Um, Fact of the matter is, bush medicine is just a tag. There are persons I understand who do not particularly like that particular tag, but it doesn't really matter whether or not you want to say bush medicine, traditional medicine, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Bush medicine actually relates to or refers to practices that take place in the bush. I'm gonna take a quick look at what bush medicine is for us to take, to sort of get our bearings before we get into the whole business of sacred symbols and talisman. Bush medicine is not herbal medicine. Herbal medicine consists solely of plant or herbal ingredients. Bush medicine has both plant and animal ingredients. Yes, animal ingredients. You look at things such as even something as mundane as beeswax. Beeswax is produced by the bees, which aren't plants. We have medicines that include animal blood, medicines that include animal carcasses, animal bones, teeth, etc. All right. Um, these are all connected to spiritual traditions of our people, and let me be a little more inclusive. Not just our people. There are medicines across the entire globe. The ancient traditions. These all predate Christianity. And the Christians may be cringing now, but it is what it is. These are normal. When you speak about bush medicine, as I said a few moments ago, it normally refers to practices that take place in the bush, that is outside of Western medical science. Um, Let me be a little more specific. Even if you have a doctor's office next door, when I say outside of the reach of medical science, it doesn't necessarily mean in terms of geographic distance. It may be in terms of cultural preference. The medical office may be next door, but people living on the other side would perhaps prefer to have their medicine, as it would be practiced in the bush back in the days. All right. Now, when we speak of bush medicine, it's not just things that are ingested, they are both internal and external medicines. All right, this is going to be a fairly short presentation, but as I said, both internal and external medicines, and we'll take a segue, a little minor sharp turn to the left and look at sacred symbols before we go into internal and external medicines. The symbol that we're looking on today is one that is recognized worldwide, probably the most recognizable, is the cross. Now, normally, whenever one thinks of the cross, one automatically connects it with Christianity. Fact of the matter is that Christianity doesn't own the cross. The cross has been around for thousands of years before Christianity. As a religious cultural icon, it really means the intersection between the physical plane, the physical world, and the spirit world. The section of the cross above the horizontal is the heavens, and the one below is the earth. Alright, that is what it means. Now, that has been adopted by Christianity and, embodied in their own theology. Fine, not a problem. But there are other traditions that use the cross. I'm going to take a look at one from the Caribbean. This is from Haitian Voodoo. It represents a divinity called Papa Legba. Now, if you look, you will see a cross there. It is there. Intersection of the physical plane and the spirit world. Spirit world in terms of the heavens and in terms of the earth. This is what is called a veve from Haitian Voodoo, and it represents, as I said, Papa Legba. It is built on the cross. Alright? There's another one. This is Haitian Voodoo again. This is Baron Samedi. Again, we're not going to get into what it means, but I'm just showing that the cross is there, and it is well recognized and well respected within the tradition. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It is within that particular tradition. Don't forget to look at the Akans, the people that gave us the Adinkra symbols and the Kente cloth. This is their cross. And you can see the Aban defense, strength, authority, and strength and authority. Granted, this cross is turned a little to the side, but this still is a cross. And there's another one. There are others too. The thing that the Nazis used and corrupted, the swastika symbol, is an ancient cross that has been in Africa for thousands of years, and I believe India as well. But we're not going to go there. I want to take a look at internal medicine. Alright? Potions, lotions, or potions, tonics, teas, and drinks. Potions are physical drinks that are supposed to have spiritual results, supposed to provide spiritual results. For instance, a young man sees a lady and he likes her, and he wants to make himself more attractive to her, and the healer will give him something to drink, and our tonics is another similar thing, but it actually builds. It doesn't mean that you lift up significantly heavier material, weight than you could normally lift. It means that you are stronger internally. All right. Teas and drinks. You have teas that are taken in the night to provide calmness and protect you from spiritual attacks in the night, etc. Drinks, etc. All of that. All right. Then you have food cooked in a particular way. There are rituals where when the client is undergoing the ritual, food is prepared, and it is essentially prepared for the gods, whatever divinity is being appeased or being supplicated to, and it has to be prepared in a particular way for the gods to accept it. However, the client is also expected to eat some of it, and so the clients will eat that, and the protection starts there. We're going towards the talisman, so we'll sort of slowly building. There's food abstinence, meaning a client can be told, do not eat chicken for 7 days or 21 days or how many ever days is required. That is abstinence. You have food taboo. A healer may say to you, as of this day going forward, you must not eat callaloo. Just for argument's sake, I'm just speaking out of the air. Alright? You no longer can eat callaloo, or you no longer can eat fish. This should be your food taboo. This is normally when someone is being brought within a particular spiritual tradition, going through an initiation then. Alright? And for instance, I may be told I can't eat fish, or I can't eat chicken, or I can't eat beef. But it means that for the rest of my life on this side, I cannot eat it. If I do, I am on my own. Anything can happen to me. Alright? Now, external medicine. This is where the talisman come in. We looked at sacred symbols already. As I said, we only looked at one. The talisman comes in here. The lotion, oils, balms. Again, these may be, alcohol based with animal, the effects of insect carcasses in there. At the presentation I did earlier on the same platform, I showed what those look like. We're not gonna go back there now. Spiritual bath. Spiritual bath may also, although it is an external thing, they may have an internal component in that the client may be given something and told to eat it just before taking the bath, consume it, maybe in the form of ashes, maybe something else, maybe a group of leaves or something with some kind of other medicine on it. All right. So the protection comes from both inside and outside. Smudging. Smudging is the whole business of burning herbs to cleanse the air and to attract good spirits and to repel bad spirits. What I've done here is give just a few, and there are a number of others. Cinnamon, a number of things that are used. Nutmeg, peppermint, frankincense, and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh is said to be a repelling agent for bad spirits, for negative energy. Nutmeg, peppermint, cinnamon, all of those are pleasant smelling to human beings, but they are attractive to positive spirits, all right? Then they've got what is called scarification. These are some rituals in which scars are inflicted on the body of the client. This again normally takes place during initiation, and I'm not speaking about any specific spiritual tradition. It goes across all traditions. They may do it in different ways. All right. Scarification, in which certain marks are made normally with a sterilized razor blade or a brand new razor blade on the body, and medicine is rubbed into the wound. These are normally very, very superficial. It may just enough to have just a little bit of bleeding, but it's not like cutting into the person's flesh. All right. These are things that are not normally spoken about, and again, I can't tell you specifically how the rituals are done or which tradition any of these belong to, but I can speak in general terms about what is done in some of them. Ornamental medicines. This is where the guard rings come in, and I'm going to go back to that a little more. These are normally accessories that are worn on the body. As I said, the next slide we're going to do a little deeper dive into what these may be. Then you have other external medicines. These are normally sashes. I remember as a small boy, when my mother's father had died, it was alleged that he had a way to be playing with me in the night. My mom would wake up and said she hear me laughing as a small boy, talking about 2 years old, and I'd be calling his name. So, she made a sachet consisting of frankincense and myrrh, and they would pin that in my shirt pocket. Now, imagine as a small boy, this thing being pinned in your pocket. I had a problem with it, but I couldn't take it out, It was supposed to keep him away. I know he would not necessarily mean to harm, and again, this is the tradition at the time. I don't think he meant to harm, but it was just starting not to be a good thing to have the spirit of a deceased, granted a deceased loved one, interacting so closely with a small child, that small child being me. Anyway, external medicine, we'll take a look at internal medicine, and we're coming very quickly to a close. Internal medicine includes things such as pendants, amulets, lucky charms, earrings, bracelets, and rings. The rings are what we call the guard rings. Before we get going further, I'm going to ask you to keep an open mind. I'm going to speak in very general terms as to how these things work. Think of a spirit as living in a tree. It's not the same as a human body being in the tree. That body will only be able to occupy a particular branch wherever the person is sitting or standing in the tree. All right. For a spirit to occupy a tree, this spirit will dissolve itself in the entire trunk, the entire branches, the entire leaves of the tree, the entire tree. The spirit will occupy it at the same time. It's not the same as a physical body in the tree. Think also of a physical human being, a physical body being in a river. The body will occupy a particular space, physical space in that river. It's not the same thing when a spirit occupies a river. Think of, say, a large basin of water and you have a bottle of ink. When you pour the ink in the water, the ink spreads out and occupies the entire thing. That is the concept of a spirit occupying a river. Likewise, a spirit occupying a tree. All right. Now, for these accessories, in terms of a guard, think of the guard ring as being the place in which the spirit lives in the ring itself. That is how it works. The spirit it occupies the ring. All right. And so, persons buying quote unquote buying guard rings is just wasting money. It doesn't work like that. You have a lot of businessmen. When I say businessmen, I'm not talking about the formal sector. A lot of people doing things and claiming they were making guard rings. It doesn't work like that. I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, for a guard ring to be effective, the ring has got to be occupied by a spirit. Now, there are different kinds of spirits. You have what you call the guards and you have the assassins. I'm just going to name those two. These are two of the kinds of rings. Now, getting the spirit in the ring, that's where the ritual is coming. And obviously, I'm not going to get into that. But essentially, that is how the guard ring works. The guard pendants, the lucky charms, the same thing. There are spirits living in it that attract positive energies and attract positive spirits. All right, the lucky charm can also be thought of as being a guard as well, because it only allows positives to take place. All right, likewise, you've got lucky earrings. People tend not to speak so much about lucky earrings or bracelets or pendants or amulets. In Jamaica, we have this thing about guard ring, although as though it has to be something worn on a finger. That is not the case. It can be worn anywhere on the body as long as you have it on your person. And it doesn't have to be a ring. It can be a necklace with a pendant. It can be an amulet. It can be a tie pin. Those in the formal sector wear tie pins. It can be an earring that is worn by a lady or by, you have men that wear earrings now too. It can be a bracelet. It can be a ring that is on the finger. I was talking to a colleague the other day, and she wasn't aware that persons within the law enforcement industry or the law enforcement sector that also wear guard rings. And I'm saying to her, yes, it's not something that is solely worn by criminals. Any particular vocation, any particular profession that exposes one to danger, physical danger, spiritual danger, any kind of danger, persons tend to be, and I'm not here saying that persons must go and get a guard. I'm just saying that is normally how it is. All right. So the ring itself houses the spirit, and you have a number of different kinds of spirits. You have guards, you have assassins, and you have other kinds which I'm not going to get into. And what happens, it protects you from spiritual attack, and the protection works in a number of ways. Let us say something was supposed to happen to you. Someone, back in the day that they talk about handset. You're going to be you had to go down to Queen Street, just for argument's sake, a particular location, and somebody set it up for persons down there, for someone down there to await you, to harm you. And on your way, you may just feel like, let me go to New Kingston first and do that, and do something else. And that is enough to keep you away from being down there when whoever it was that was waiting on you, to do whatever they plan to do to you. That is sufficient time to keep you away from going down there. While they're there, you may go after they're gone. If your guard is strong, or you may not end up going and thwart their plans. Now, the whole business of transference, a guard ring that is activated from me, depending on the tradition, may be ineffective if I give it to say you, Courtney or Flavius. You may wear it from now till next year, and it doesn't do anything for you because the spirit in the ring doesn't know you. It is something that has to be prepared specifically for you. You know, again, let me not be so strident. There may be traditions that allow a general purpose gathering where once you have it, it protects you. I have to open my mind to that. But the traditions that I have looked at, all of them, the ring is prepared specifically for you. And some of them is so strong that if someone else wears it, they can get harmed. All right, because the spirit doesn't know them. All right, the thing was not activated for them, for that person, was activated for someone else, for me, just for argument's sake. All right. Now, what I said earlier, activation involves a number of very strong, very complex rituals, which I'm obviously not going to get into. But that really is the heart of, what causes the protection, so to speak. All right. And you're not going to find a spirit jumping out of the ring and standing in front there and fighting physically to protect you. It doesn't work like that. It comes in terms of ideas. Your preference may change at the last minute. Like the example I gave a while ago. Instead of going straight down to Queen Street to do business at a particular location, because you're protected, you may end up going to New Kingston to do something else. Or you may end up going somewhere else and not being at the location at which it was being set for you. Or you may end up going and you may have seen, I don't know if this was this is indication of in the past of persons gatherings working, but someone may try to fire a gun at you and it stick. Things of that nature. That's just how it is. That's how it works. And as is the case with bush medicine, it doesn't have to be something that is explicable. There's no need to be able to physically to explain it, why it works or how it works. It just is the way it is. Okay. That is pretty much what I have prepared for today. A very short presentation. It was about 20 minutes, or less than 20 minutes. Yeah. So that is pretty much how it works.
I remember reading the book Dark Days of Ghana by Nkrumah.
By who?
Nkrumah.
Nkrumah, okay, yeah.
And one of the things that was in that book is that they were trying to kill him for a very long time.
Yeah.
And one of the things was exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Somebody pointed a gun at him point blank, and he just never went off.
Yeah.
Just never went off.
So I say, my thing is, I have to be careful where I say things like these. Some people see me as being evil, because of the specialization. You were here one time when people were saying that Maroons are evil people. Oh, yeah. Because of suspicion, and I'm saying no, they are not evil, and neither am I evil neither am I evil. It's just the area that you specialize in and the knowledge that you have of a particular area. But this is how it is. Pendants, amulets, lucky charms, earrings, bracelets, rings. In Jamaica, as I said, we tend to speak about God rings, but it doesn't have to be a ring. And by the way, the ring is not something that the healer will make himself. You have very few healers who are also jewelers who can make jewel. They may have rings that they can sell you and they activate it for you. But any ring can be a God ring. You take it to the healer and he does what he needs to do and he gives it back to you. It might take a period of days, normally about 7 days. Again, the significance of the number 7 and 3 comes into it. You may be told that while you're wearing it, you're not supposed to have sex. You have to take it off or whatever it is, and put it on back afterwards, after your shower, But these are the usual things with rituals, with spiritual baths. The number 3 and 7 are very important. You may be told while you're eating it, you can't drink. While you're wearing it, you can't drink orange juice. And again, I'm just picking these out of the air. It's not because I know of anything specific. But think of it this way: if the God that is in your ring is a spirit that does not take orange juice, and you are drinking orange juice, you can imagine that something may not go so well. You may have some conflict there. So food taboo comes into it again. It depends on the tradition, and the traditions across Africa have their sacred objects and have their talisman, you know. So that is how the sacred object come in. I spoke about the cross, yes, and it's not directly connected to God rings, but you know, being a sacred object, one would think that you may have seen the Roman Catholics with what they call a crucifix.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and they use it, and it provides, you know, peace and calm for them. Some people will say, to some extent, it functions almost like a kind of lucky charm or amulet or whatever they want to call it. But like I said, all across Africa, all the traditions that I have looked at, you have sacred objects, and you have objects in which spirits live that are taken around to provide protection, you know. This is gonna sound very esoteric. There may be people who may, you know, your audience may watch it and say, "Oh, I'm talking nonsense." It is what it is. You know, you don't have to accept it. But you know what I'm talking about is really how it goes.
Do you know anything about things that people put under the skin?
Under the skin,
Yes.
I can see.
Kind of
I can see a similarity with some of the things. Instead of wearing a ring that you have to take off, or a bracelet that you have to take off, an earring, a pendant, an amulet, it may be something that, you know, you keep on your person permanently by inserting it under the skin. Although I would be sort of hesitant, because the whole business of the whole business of how sterile that, you know, the operation is going to be, and you don't want infection and all of that, you know. But I can see a talisman or a protection accessory being placed under the skin, because that is with you permanently.
Yeah.
You know.
So Debon, tell me something. What is the major difference between an amulet and a talisman?
They're all essentially talisman, and a talisman is supposed to be, and the lucky charm, they're supposed to provide protection slash attract good luck. I think the talisman, the amulets is more for lucky charms, for, you know, more to attract good luck. The talisman can offer protection as well as attracting good luck. Good luck means that things go well for you. You know, by and large, you may have some negatives, yes, but things go well for you. The protection means that you cannot be attacked spiritually. Spirits can't attack you, and, you know, persons working to harm you cannot get through, because, you know, you've got your guards with you, and they travel with you in your goings out and your comings, and you're told to keep it on your person at all times. You know, it's one and the same. But one may be more focused on attracting good luck, whereas another one, you know, deals with good luck as well as protecting you from spiritual attacks.
Can somebody guard you without you knowing?
Your ancestors can travel with you. It helps when you speak to them and you ask them to accompany you. When you say somebody guard you, before let me step back. What do you mean by that? Somebody guard you.
You're in going in the direction that I want to go next. But this one, let's say you have a parent and he will buy his son a ring and give him as a gift, and that ring is a guard ring. Would that work?
Yeah, but hold on, you know, the ring itself would have to be activated for the person who's going to wear it.
Yeah, it would be, but the person who's going to wear it
doesn't know.
Yeah, and not there.
Oh, it doesn't really matter if you know or not. The spirit lives in the ring.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
But go back to the one you were talking about a while ago.
Oh, I thought you meant, when you say parents guard you, I thought you meant the spirits of a deceased spirit traveling around with you and offering guidance and protection. That is normal. I mean, it helps when you speak to your parents. That is why you have what they call ancestral worship, although technically nobody worships the spirits of their ancestors. Not in the traditional interpretation of the word worship. You know, you appease them, you venerate them, you provide offerings, you supplicate, you ask, you say kind things, and you ask for guidance and protection, and their spirit does in fact travel with you. And you know, it comes to you in terms of ideas. You won't see your mother standing in front of you and say, must turn left, not right. You would just have the sensation to turn left instead of right. You know, it's not as direct as what you may see. She may appear in a dream and may ask you why you keep going that way. But then, you know, spirits don't really communicate directly. You know, you have to understand what they mean. You know? She may ask you why you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
Yeah.
But you know within your own mind have to try to assess what is it you keep on doing that is not working, yet still you keep on doing it. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is fascinating information that we're getting here.
You probably won't hear it. You won't hear it many places.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. You know?
That's for sure.
But yeah, it's just based on the kind of work that I do. And as I say, I can't get specific into the rituals as to what traditions the people practice, but I can speak in general terms about how things work. You know.
So do we have like a course of study at the university? I know in America they have some Obeach courses and Voodoo courses and all that.
Yeah. Put it this way. I'm not saying anything negative about the Americans or the people that I have teaching, but traditions like these, for me, in my own personal estimation, I'd prefer to learn it from someone who grew up in the tradition rather than somebody who studied it, and did an exam and was told that they passed. So you want to talk to a healer or someone who grew up in the environment within which the traditions were practiced. At UA, there's no course that teaches you some of the things that I'm talking about. This is gathered by personal information from my family and also from healers that I've spoken to in conducting my research.
So that was just totally research based, really.
Yeah, research, yeah, you talk to the people who actually do the work, actually do it, and you get from them what happens when you do this, what happens when you do that, why you do it this way and not that way, kind of stuff.
Do you find that they are open to you?
The healers,
Yes.
yes, man. The bottom line is, a good healer will, as I said, check you out before talking to you, And if they feel that you're someone who would bring them into disrepute either by calling their names or by calling the tradition and telling how rituals are done, then they're not going to speak to you. They check you out. One healer I went to in St. Thomas, when I stepped in, him look at me and say, "You are not here for Obeah, you're here for knowledge, right?" And I say, "Yes." And the man just know. So, and he proceeded to tell me that there was a maroon spirit that traveled with me, and he gave me the name of the gentleman. These are things that you can't really explain. That's why I said, our bush medicine, you've got to make allowance for the fact that some things are you just cannot explain it. You just have to accept that that is how it is. There's no logical explanation. And he told me the gentleman was waiting for me outside, and he's going to join me again when I'm on my way back to town.
Okay. Okay. That's your bodyguard.
Something like that. Told me of a small maroon lady, which I know is my mother's grandmother.
Okay.
And the man he spoke about was my mother's father.
Okay. So you're well taken care of.
What can I say?
Apart from Haiti,
Yes.
how is this in the rest of the Caribbean? I've not heard much.
Okay, we mustn't isolate Haiti. Haiti is just very open about, because the tradition of voodoo.
That's why I said, because everybody knows about Haiti.
Yeah.
We don't know about Jamaica.
Yeah, there are other.
I don't know about other islands in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
Cuban,
Yeah, there are other Afro-Caribbean traditions that emerge out of, the ancestors who were brought here from Western and West Central Africa. And some of them also came from India too. You've got Indian traditions that were brought here along with the people who came as what they call indentured workers.
Yes.
And the Orient also, they too have their traditions that were brought here. And some of these traditions, actually found themselves or have found themselves into today's traditions too. Things that we call Obeach. It's not just all Africa. You've got, and the Tainos, they have their divinities that, some that are also part of some of the traditions that, some practitioners carry out. But as I was saying, around the Caribbean, you have the Afro-Caribbean influence. Places such as Trinidad and Tobago, you got to love and respect them. They're very open. They've got their shouting Baptists, their Shango worshippers, so to speak. And they've got their Hinduism and their Christianity, which is Roman Catholicism, I believe. But what I found is that territories around the Caribbean that were colonized by the British, are generally the Protestant branch of Christianity. The Afro influence tend not to survive so openly. With Roman Catholicism, you have a number of saints, and some of these saints have been syncretized with some of the divinities across Africa. For instance, on a Lukumi altar, you will see a statuette of St. Francis of Assisi. But it has nothing to do with St. Francis of Assisi. It's really a representation of Ifa Orunmila, a Yoruba divinity. And you've got a number of other saints that have been syncretized in this way. But in Protestant Christianity, there isn't much room for that. They speak about not worshiping lesser gods. So you find that some of the African divinities did not survive, but others have taken their place.
So what's the difference with Jamaica?
Jamaica is being a former British colony. The African influence is not as open, but it is here. It is here. In terms of the spiritual traditions, I won't speak too directly about the traditions that I've looked at, but you find influences of Africa in them. But then these are very secretive. People tend not to speak so much about them. And persons outside of the traditions, with the exception of researchers such as myself, persons may not know what is happening. They may just know that they can get a gathering from this person. Or if you want a spiritual bath, you can go to that man and he'll do it for you. But in terms of what else is happening within the community, within the spiritual tradition itself, the hierarchy of spirits and how the rituals are done, persons outside of the community wouldn't know that. Wouldn't know anything at all about that.
But I just say community. Do they get together as a community? Do they know each other?
Oh, you mean the healers?
Yes.
Yeah, healers tend to know each other. Yes, not everybody will know everybody, as you can well imagine. But in communities, and you have certain communities that have separated themselves. Think about it. And they practice their tradition behind closed doors. We were speaking about one earlier. And they have their traditions that they practice, and they have their annual rituals, hint, hint. And they do their thing. They know each other, they know other healers from other similar communities. So the healers themselves may not be known outside of the community. And when I say community, I'm not necessarily speaking about just a geographic community. I'm talking about a community of practitioners across the country. Persons will tend to know each other, but they tend not to be known outside of that practicing community.
One more point now. What about, I think a few months ago or a year ago or so,
yeah,
when there was something in the press about the government and the whole Obeach thing.
Yeah. Oh, you mean to make it to stop it from being
practice.
No, to stop it from being a criminal offense.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Legalizing.
Yeah, to legalizing it. Well, you will recall that immediately. I think it was Minister. What's his name? Minister of Justice,
Oh,
he had made mention of it, that he was thinking of having it taken off the books. And there were certain members within the Christian community that came up immediately. And, you know, they were that on their watch, it will not happen. And they may fire be lit in the bed of all politicians who support this. I mean, this was in the paper. This is what they were saying, you know. The funny thing, though, and you know, I don't mean to be ungracious or controversial any more than I already am. Some of the loudest voices have their healers, and they visit their healers to get their blessings. You see what I'm saying?
yes,
You see what I'm
yes,
saying? It just sinking, Courtney.
Yeah.
And let me leave that alone. You know,
yes,
you'll be amazed.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
amazed. You'll be amazed. Trust me.
yes.
Yeah. You'll be
Lord.
amazed. Like I said, this is a very peculiar environment within which to work. You know, everybody see you as, you know, peculiar. Let me leave it at that. You're thought of as in some very negative ways, but it is what it is, you know. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah. But a quick one before you leave. You go, Debon.
you finally recover from the bout of laughter, Courtney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just reading something about some legendary talisman, and I saw something about Elden Ring or some Elden Ring thing. I don't know. I don't quite
Okay.
understand.
I'm not familiar with that particular name, Elden Ring. It could be from a particular. It sounds like something from medieval Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're gonna find that, like I said, these artifacts are in all ancient traditions, all of them worldwide. It's not just Africa. All right, but since Europe has essentially been colonized completely and absolutely, well, let me not say completely and absolutely, has been colonized by Christianity, was overlaid itself on everything and declared everything before it as being evil. You may not hear much about them, but you know, like the Nordics, you know, they have their own. The Gypsies, the Gypsies are the persons that we normally associate crystal balls with, but there are healers in Jamaica who use crystal balls. There are healers in Jamaica who use tarot cards, who use regular playing cards, you know?
Didn't know that.
And so it is here, yes, it is here. It is here in Jamaica. Mm.
Yeah.
You have a number of traditions that are in Jamaica that are not solely African. You have very strong European elements that are there. There, you know, once you know where to look and what to look for, you will see them.
Okay.
So this Elden Ring thing, like I say, I'm not familiar with it, but it could be from medieval Europe, and you know, it's just another of the sacred objects, sacred symbols, talisman that is spiritually connected. And in all cases, all of these talismans, in order for them to have their power, they have to be what is called activated. They've got to be activated, and that is done via rituals, a series of rituals, you know. The rituals, I'm sure, will vary from tradition to tradition, how it is done. You know, I don't know all of them, but, you know, even those a few that I know, I really can't talk about it. You know, it just is the way it is. Yes, man.
All I can say is wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. Every day there's more to learn.
Yep.
All different areas, different aspects.
Yeah, it's part of culture.
So how is the research going?
The research is going very, very well. I'm hopefully coming up to the end. Um, let's see what happens. Of course, there were some bumps along the way, minor bumps, but you know,
Oh yes, of course, yes.
with the aid of the universe, I managed to get by them. You know, there are some things that present themselves that were unnecessary, but it is what it is. You know, we live and we learn.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah. and you realize that not everybody who looks at you with a blank face or even more so with a pleasant face actually is standing with you.
Oh, that we know. In Courtney, that we
Oh,
know.
yeah. Oh, yes.
Know that very well.
Yeah,
Oh,
that we
yes.
know. Mm.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It is what it is. Mhm.
All the ones who would put down them head on the block and say, yes, I'm with you.
Those tend to be the most dangerous ones.
Oh, yes. Well, that I know. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I take everybody by
So
themselves.
the last time we were on, we had a few more persons. I think her name was Francis,
Francine, yeah.
Francine, and a couple other people. How are they? You guys still in touch with them?
More or less.
Yes, yes, on and off.
Okay.
You know, everybody sort of get busy, so it just left us to continue to keep the ship going.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so well, you know, so we're just doing our best to keep, you know, having a quality program and getting, you know, information out there.
Yeah, assist some of the powerhouses that you have on your program from time to time. But I'm not always able to go back and play and go through the thing. But you guys are doing good work. It's a small outlet, yes, but at least it is assisting in providing information to persons who may be interested.
Oh, yes,
you know?
definitely.
It is what it
That's
is.
the aim of the game, yes.
Well,
Thank you very much, sir.
no problem.
You know, put
We
together
stop
another
sharing.
topic.
Hmm?
And let us put together another topic and let us
Okay, we see about that. No problem. Yeah.
No, because these are very interesting, you know, especially when people can reach them at this kind of level.
Yes.
Where, you know, they're not in the open. You know, and they want to know about what is happening, and
yes.
you know, I'm not gonna ask them neighbor, I'm not gonna ask them friend. But them can listen to something like this now and get the information, and then them can say, well, I don't believe this, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody tell me about this long time. You know? Yeah.
I think one of the problems, you know, people have is that they have never heard it discussed intellectually, you know,
that way. Okay.
From that perspective. So, you know, so, you know, they tend to, you know, a little kind of inner city talk.
And the suspicion is here, and suspicion here, and
a whole lot of suspicion and
talk about evil and all of that. No problem. No problem. All right, guys, it's so like we're come to the end, so we'll talk again. All right?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
All right, cool. No problem.
You lead us to full. You belong far away away. Ajugwala lebo buseru. Lida mua, lida sungfula. Lida mua, lida sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me do what set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away myself. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I will. Surely I